Hi friends, Ganesh here. Today I will show you how to use Blockbench, which is an application used for creating mobs in Minecraft, and it can also be used for other things like 3D modeling, which is written here a low poly 3D modeling editor. So you might be wondering, why am I associating Minecraft with this? Well, because on September 10th, 2021, if you didn't know, Minecraft released the Minecraft Entity Wizard for creating mobs for Minecraft. That means that you don't have to rely on Mojang to just release mobs. You can create your own mobs whenever you want. So anyways, today I will show you how to work with Blockbench, how to start off with the basics, and how you can create your first mobs. Like, this is one of my projects I have been working on lately. It's not done yet, and don't judge me if it doesn't look too good, because, well, I'm not a Minecraft modder. I'm still getting used to it. So today I will also show you some pretty good tips for starters on Blockbench, so that if you're starting new, it will be easy. And if you didn't know, Blockbench itself, the interface is really easy to use. And plus, I will be helping you the whole way. So let's get started. So to open Blockbench, you can just search in Google as well. Blockbench, just type in and click the first website you see here. So here are two options. We can download it and also use the Open Web app. For today, we will be using the Open Web app. If you want, you can download it if you really want to go into it. So anyways, this is the start where you will see which model you can create. Like you see here in new, there are general, Minecraft, info, and so on. So here for Minecraft tab, we also have these things like the Java block item, although you must also know that the model is limited to a size of 3 by 3 blocks because this is an item. There are also for bedrock, bedrock blocks, bedrock entities, and so on, but the generic model is like the, let's say, original model, and it's the most free one. Like, you can literally do anything here without any limitations. So today it's the easiest one to start off with. We will be working with the generic model. So let's click on create new model. So when we load in our new project, the first thing it will ask us if we want to name our file. For today, I will just call tutorial file. You can also just click the X and click out of it, but it doesn't matter. You can also change the texture sizes and the per face UV, but for now we will just save it as this and click confirm. So anyways, as you can see, this is our interface. This is the platform where we will be working with. So let's first start with the basics on how to move your camera. If you want to move it around like this, just click the left click button on your mouse. And if you want to move the whole platform like this, click right click button for that. So it's pretty easy to start off with. And now we will also learn how to use, like, let's say you move this camera around and you want to go back to the starting point, like it was something like this. For that also, if we click the file button, go to preferences, and so I was saying how to go back to the original angle of your camera, that it was right click on any part of the screen, click on angles and go to initial angle. Now we are back from where we started, the same exact angle. So what also and also if you want to like put it on initial angle, you can also click on the numpad number 1. It will also bring it back to how it was. So now we have learned how to use the screen here. So now let's actually add a model or item like a cube. Here on the side you can also see these things like add group, add element, and so on. There are also these other tabs like edit, paint, animate. They all have different functions, so you should learn these two at first. And also, if you're not comfortable with the UV here, you can also hold and drag this and put it wherever you want on your screen. You can also decrease the size of it if it's comfortable, but for now I'll just save it here. You can change some of the settings if you wanted, but I will save it as it is for now. So anyways, the first thing we will do is add an element. we will add a cubed. Here you can also change the diameter and the height. If you may be using this from an older version, it has changed and it's sort of different. So let's just click confirm. And now we have a cuboid. I wanted to insert a cube, but that's fine. Anyways, so now let's first get started with these tools here. The few basic tools here like move, resize, and rotate you may be familiar with if you have ever used any other like 3D modeling apps like something like Roblox Player or Blender, which also have the same function. So here you can see these arrows which we can move around. You can also see this blue outline where your cube was at the first. So this makes it much easier. This is the resize tab. We can make it change the size of this cube by holding down on one of these arrows and so on. There's a lot of tools here as well. Okay, so at first I messed up. The first thing, if you want to like insert a cube, you are actually supposed to go to element here, and in element, you can add a cube from here. So firstly, we will be working with the cube because it's much easier to work with. So as you can see here, when we click on the cube, let's first start off with the move tab. So as you can see, you may already know, we can easily move it with these bars here. And also now let's check the resize or scale, however you want to call it. So as you can see, we can move it, scale it up or down. But if you want to, if you reach here till the end, as we can see, we're just stuck here. We can't go anymore. So if you want to go the other way, you must hold on and drag this part. But you can also change it if you want to by going to view. Wait. By going to file, click on preferences and settings. And in settings, go to snapping and click on negative size, which allows to the resize tool to use negative resizes. And now let's close this. So now if I try to drag this past the limit, as you can see, I can do that easily. But that means the texture of it will be a lot more messed up because we're going the other way. So you should be a bit more careful with this tool. If you want, you can leave it enabled, but I usually leave this tool disabled because it can really mess up things sometimes. And also, if you want to like change the size to a like position, if I move this negative way against the size, as you can see here, we will get a negative size, like because I am increasing the size of the cube a negative way. That's why it will show here -9. And let's say if you want to bring it back to how it was, you will how the size was, we will have to put all of these tabs back to 0. Oh, click this the other way. Okay. Anyways, you will have to like change the position of it and everything back to 0, and also you will want to. Okay, so this is how you resize and move the cube. But let's say you want to like go like you made it increase the size, but you want to go back. You can also change the like the position and size of this cube back to how it was, like this. Or you can also just click Ctrl Z if you or go to here to file. No, I meant to edit, and you can click on undo or redo. But as you can see here, there are also the shortcut keys here, which is Ctrl Z for going back to how it was. If you already know, in many applications that's already there, Ctrl Z and Ctrl Y. You may already know these shortcut keys. Okay, so leave this aside. Now let's check the rotate. So it's just all it does normally is rotate the cube like this. you just hold on these, it's easier to hold on the thicker part of these lines, so you can easily rotate this cube however you want. And again, if you want to like bring the rotation back to zero, how you wanted, how it was, just type in here zero, all of this, click enter, and as you can see, it will go back to normally how it was, like the rotation. So these are all just the basics of the basic tools that you may already know. So now let's go to the other tools that we have here. So the next tool we have here is the pivot tool. So if I click it here, you can see I get these three lines. But what are these? What is even a pivot? So if you don't know what a pivot is, that it's like the center mass of an object. If I move this line up here, that means that I put the center mass of this cube on top of it. So it's basically they're still connected, but the pivot to the center mass where you control it is on another place. So let's say we want to rotate it. Although this could go horribly wrong if you don't know how to use this correctly. So make sure to master that first if you want to get better at this. So let's just bring our pivot tool back to how it was. So like this. Now it's good. And this could be useful in some cases if you have like a more complicated model. So let me show you an example of that. So now, as you can see, we have two models here. If I want to place this part of the model on top of this, it may be a lot more tricky with the move tool. But if you use the vertex snap, and now let's take a look at the vertex snap. So if you don't know what vertex snap is, it is, let's say we have like two cubes over here, and we want to, and for example, I want to put this cube over here, perfectly aligned on top of this cube. So it won't be that hard to use the move tool to just move these around and perfectly place this on the other cube. But if this were a more complex block, then that would have been really hard. But the vertex snap is makes the job really easy. So for that, the first thing we will do is I want to choose the corner I want to put on top of this. So this corner we choose, click on it. So as you can see, we have a tiny arrow on top of my cursor here. So now I click on this cube and click on the dot I want to align this here. See, you can see a blue line that's connecting them. Click on it, and as you can see, our block is perfectly aligned on top of the other one, which is a very useful tool in creating very complex structures. So let me show you an example. So let's say if you are trying to create something like this and you want to align this block on top of this one, using the move tool would really be sort of hard to make it because this block is at an angle and this one is straight. But with the vertex snap tool, it will be much easier. I can just click on this part of this corner of the block here. And now we go to this block and click on this. So as you can see, my block is perfectly on top of the other one. Honestly, this looks like an egg of some, this looks like a leg of some mob. Let's also change, we can also change the color of our cubes. As you can see here, they're both blue. We can also change it. If I right click on an item, I can also duplicate it. You can also see the shortcut keys here. Like if I want to duplicate this cube, just click Ctrl D or on your keyboard, or just click duplicate. And also we can change the marker colors of when we are rearranging these cubes here, we can also see by the color, sort them by the color, and it will be much easier. And we can also click on we can also rename them to something like cube 1, just to make it a difference so we don't confuse them with each other, and also rename them. Yeah, this looks good. And also, as you can see here, when I move my screen around, it's sort of like glitching. the cubes are inside of each other and they're glitching. This actually happens often with many of these 3D modeling apps because these cubes have the exact same length and width, and because the width is exactly the same, the Blockbench doesn't know which of these cubes to make them on the front exactly. That's why it's sort of like glitching out. So the way to fix this is actually pretty easy. So you have to go to the toolbar here, customize toolbar, and here we will have to search for the tool inflate. Let me show you. Inflate. This is the tool I mean. Click plus to add it here. And as you can see the inflate tool here, we can see it. If I close this tab now, since I already have an item clicked here, if I clicked here, that's why we will have the inflate tool over here. So if I just may change the amount to 0.001, click enter, as you can see, the glitching is fixed because one of this block is just by 0.001 millimeters, is just a little bigger than the other cube below it. That's why the glitching effect is now gone, which is pretty good now. And it looks much smoother. And also, if from the start you don't see the inflate tool anywhere, it's because you have to click on any item to make it appear. So if I click on this block here, then the inflate tab will appear here, so you know. Well, I put this block down here so it's easier to use. As you can see here, we have this tab here called transform space, and it has three tabs when we open it, called global, parent, and local. If you don't know what these mean, well, usually we will be working with global and local. So I'll show you in a bit what this means. Anyways, if I put it down on local and the pivot tool is back here, so if I rotate my cube, as you can see, if I rotate it, the tools also change their space, as you can see here. But if I go onto global here, even if I move the block, as you can see, the tool itself, the rotate tool itself, these circles are still on the same spot, which is actually pretty useful for beginners. So now I suggest you actually mess around with these tools so that you find a comfortable zone to use this with when modeling, which could literally make modeling a literal breeze. But you should also know how to change these global spaces and local spaces, because if you like mix these up, it's not, you're going to ruin everything. So in short, what global means here is that if I like move this cube up, its pivot will also move with it, which is also the most important part about this tool, because it makes the modeling much easier when you set it on global here. When I move the block, its pivot also moves with it, as you can see here. You'll also see this small cross here, it also follows the block when I move it on global. And now let's check out the pivot. As you can see, the pivot is actually down here when it's still set on global. So let's just put it back in here. But also don't forget in mind that even if I put the pivot up here, so now let's try rotating it with global on. As you can see, I will rotate it, and as you can see, it doesn't look too well. So, and yeah, I suggest you really do mess around with these tools, like up here, the rotation space and stuff. Also get used to using the global and local tabs here. So if you do get used to working with these, modeling will become a breeze and you will become a pro much easier now. So guys, this is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to never miss out on my other videos. And see you next time in another video. Bye.